Now, let's move into tax highlights, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to the individual tax matter, the first thing that we will see is the personal tax rate. The government has actually done a revise in the tax rates, right? And the first categories that they're actually looking at is those categorized under the M40, all right? Whereby within the 35,000 to 100,000 category, whereby it was proposed that a 2% drop in terms of the tax rate is to be given for this cluster of income. However, we see that the category that is between the range, the classes that is 250,000 to 400,000, we see an increase of 0.5% pointer, yeah, in terms of the tax rate. And we see that the 100,000 to 250,000 as well as 400 to 600,000, we see that this particular income band, it has increased 1%. And not forgetting the one after, the 600,000 and above, we see that the chargeable income band for this one has actually increased to 2%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how impactful is this particular percentages to everyone? Now, allow me just to pick up some information. Hold on a second. Now, in the budget speech, right, when the government was actually having this announcement, they did actually do a quick write-up, right? They did actually do quite a quick write-up about what is the savings or the additional tax that is required to be paid. Now, even though the 100,000 mark, the 100,000 to 250,000 mark seems to have increased 1%, but generally over here, the increase is only 200 ringgit only for tax to be paid, ladies and gentlemen. So I believe this impact is something that is able to be afforded by the T20. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the interesting part right now is, what is B40? What is the income rate for B40? What is the income rate for M40? And what is the income rate for T20? Now, if I may just do a quick comparison for you, you will realize that, okay, for the, hold on a second. Now, as far as the B40 is concerned, B40, we are talking about income breaks. Yeah, we are talking about income breaks that was 4,850 ringgit per month. All right. M40, we talk about household. We talk about household income of 10,970. And T20, we are talking about those who come under the category of above 10,970. Now, interestingly, I think for certain states in Malaysia, after all, we have 13 states. So for certain smaller states or more of a rural states, the T20 definition, I think, is fair. Above 10,000, they can live a very luxurious life already. But in Kuala Lumpur, in Federal Territory Kuala Lumpur, 10,970. Yeah. Do you call ourselves a T20, ladies and gentlemen? What's your thought? I'm just wondering, do you think 10,970 is considered a T20? If you think it's yes, maybe you put in the chat room 333. If you think it is no, maybe you put a 555, right? So I'm just wanted to hear from you on this particular part. But anyway, it is interesting to actually see that the way that the percentile is actually being put forward for the beginning, for the 100 to 250, the tax required to be paid is actually not too much. 200 ringgit is 200 ringgit. Let me just check. How does most people think 555? Yeah. So that's why, you know, when I was actually doing a chit chat sessions over a dry run with Dr. Wong, I was saying that, you know, the definitions and the relevancy of T20, we are not disputing on the B40. The T20, more than 10,000 considered T20. it may not be an across the board, how do you call it? It may not be an across the board kind of yardstick. Yeah, across all states, across all daerah. Yeah, so basically we will see how this fare. But in a way, ladies and gentlemen, I do agree. Those who are able to earn more does actually have to pay higher taxes. All right. So the question now is, how will be the budget bring everyone to a higher income, isn't it? Right. So we can actually continue to contribute towards tax, but how do we continuously doing that if we have a certain sector that is considered poor at all time, right? We have to actually lift everybody up together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on as far as the rakyat is concerned. We talk about personal tax. We see that the medical treatment expenditure has now increases from 8,000 to 10,000. I'm totally welcome this additional tax relief that is granted by the company, by the government this time round. It could have been more than that because medical bill is honestly very, very expensive. Now, the detail on what is actually part of this medical treatment expenditure, it's actually written in this particular proposal slide that we are having here, which include autism, etc., etc. Yeah. Now, hyperactive disorder, etc., etc. So we hope that, right, that you find this particular relief welcome. The second one is actually a relief more for the civil servant, ladies and gentlemen, whereby for the civil servant, they are being encouraged. They are being encouraged to also contribute to EPF, right? To EPF, whereby they will then, with the EPF contribution, they are allowed a deductions of 3,000 and the life insurance premium or takafu of additional contributions which is actually then be deducted under the 3,000 relief. This is actually being encouraged for 2023 onwards. So the civil servants are being encouraged to do a voluntary contribution towards EPF money. Okay. Now, a new tax has been introduced, ladies and gentlemen. Tax on luxury goods. Para 22-1. The government says they intend to introduce a luxury goods tax starting this year with certain value limited according to the types of luxury goods. Now, this is an interesting part, ladies and gentlemen. How do you call a luxury goods? Is luxury goods equates branded goods? If it's equate branded goods, how do you call a branded goods, right? So this is an art, if you're asking me, right? This luxury goods tax is an art. What is a definition? What are the items that comes into it, etc., etc. Will this resulted in some of our branded outlets in Malaysia or branded shop flagship that is in Malaysia decided suffering lower income because of this additional taxes? Will that actually means that certain sector of consumer will then go overseas to buy, and not consume in Malaysia? The luxury goods is still continue to be sold. It's just not benefiting the business of Malaysians who are actually running a luxury goods chain store or etc. So this particular additional tax is interesting to see how the government is going to craft this particular one. All right. Now, again, just now we mentioned about this low rate capital gain tax, which is on the paragraph 32-2. The government will study. They say they will study the introductions of this capital gain tax for the disposal of shares not listed by the company from 2024 at a low rate. Meaning to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a preamble announcement to everyone. Okay, so they announced that they are going to go into the space of expanding the tax space of Malaysian tax. Okay, so capital gain tax is coming to Malaysia. Now, excise duties on liquid and gel products containing nicotine. So I think the government has always been looking into and creating a healthy community. So taxes of these sorts is nothing to be surprised about, I would say.